Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We are so glad you've joined us.
It's great to be back.
Here on the show, we don't just, skim the surface. We really plunge into your most fascinating sources, digging deep to unearth those truly compelling insights.
That's the goal.
Our mission. Well, it's to offer you a shortcut to being well-informed and hopefully spark a few aha moments along the way.
Definitely.
Today, we're embarking on a journey into the rich, sometimes pretty turbulent waters of Mark Twain's classic, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn.
A real giant of American literature.
Absolutely. And to give us an even richer perspective, we've brought along a fascinating collection of historical book advertisements from that era as companion material. Kind of sets the scene.
Indeed. And this isn't just going to be, a simple retelling of a story most people think they know.
Right.
Our deep dive today is really an intricate exploration of the profound social commentary, the complex moral questions, and also the surprising, sometimes quite dark humor woven into Twain's narrative. We'll be looking at how Huck's journey down the Mississippi River serves as this powerful lens into 19th century American society.
Its contradictions, its hidden sides.
Exactly. The deep contradictions, the hidden brutalities, and maybe most importantly, that enduring human search for real autonomy and genuine connection, especially when facing immense pressure.
It really makes you wonder, what can this adventure, a boy on a raft navigating this huge river, what can it really tell us about ourselves?
About society.
Yeah, about the societies we build and what it ultimately means to be truly free. That question just keeps coming back, doesn't it?
It resonates powerfully, even now.
So let's start digging in. Our deep dive begins right at the beginning. Huck Finn's, utterly unconventional start in life.
Yeah, from the get-go, Twain shows Huck's resistance to what society tries to impose on him, particularly through Miss Watson.
She's the embodiment of civilization for him.
Right. He just doesn't fit into those neat, kind of suffocating boxes. And his first encounters with, formal religion and education, they're very telling.
Oh, they really are. Miss Watson's trying to teach him about prayer, these spiritual gifts you get from it. But Huck, being Huck, is just so pragmatic. He doesn't see any real tangible value there. He remembers thinking, I didn't think much of it when she described heaven.
The harps and singing all day.
Exactly, going around all day with a harp and singing forever and ever. And then this perfect Huck moment, he admits he was glad about that, when she said Tom Sawyer wouldn't be going.
Because?
Because he wanted him and me to be together. That friendship, that concrete bond with Tom, it just completely trumps any idea of, heavenly bliss for him.
It's such a wonderfully unsentimental viewpoint, isn't it? Practical to the core.
Totally.
And he even tries to, test this prayer thing out, practically.
Yeah, the fishhooks.
Exactly. He tries praying for something useful to him, fishhooks. He says he tried for the hooks 3 or 4 times, but somehow I couldn't make it work.
Bless his heart. He asked Miss Watson for help, and she just calls him a fool.
Right. So his conclusion, there ain't nothing in it. Not for him, anyway. Not in a way that makes sense to his world.
He thinks the advantage is only for the other people.
Precisely. And this early experience, not being burdened by societal pretense or conventional morals, it lets him see things that others, wrapped up in their rules and piety, just miss.
He questions everything based on, personal experience and results, not just what he's told.
It's a powerful foundation for the moral journey he's about to take. Really sets him apart.
And just as he's grappling with this forced civilization, this much bigger, more immediate threat looms.
Yeah.
The return of his father, Pap. And Pap, gosh, he embodies the raw, unvarnished brutality of a society that's actually deeply uncivilized, despite its claims.
Oh, absolutely. Twain uses Pap to show the flip side of that civilization. What does his return really reveal?
Well, Pap's return is meant to be jarring, right? He's described as ragged, long, greasy hair, almost like a drowned man.
Which is grimly ironic later on.
Right. And there's that brief, almost funny attempt by Judge Thatcher to reform him.
Clean him up, new clothes, talk about temperance.
Yeah, this thin veneer of respectability. But it cracks almost instantly. He relapses into drunken, abusive behaviors.
It shows how deep-seated some problems are, how superficial those attempts at reform can be.
But it's his infamous government tirade that really cuts deep. Pap raging about the law, keeping him from Huck's money, his rights. But then he pivots. From his own grievance to this just venomous, unbelievable rant about a free nigger from Ohio.
Yeah, the description is so specific. A mulatto, most as white as a white man, educated, well-dressed.
A professor in a college even. owns a gold watch. Pap is furious that this black man can vote and be respected while he feels degraded.
It's absolutely abhorrent, Pap's racism. But what else is Twain doing there? He's showing us something broader, a wider societal fear.
That's the key question, I think.
It's a searing indictment by Twain. He's not endorsing Pap's views, obviously, but he's powerfully exposing these deep-seated anxieties. White poverty, racial anxieties, this perceived breakdown of the social hierarchy in the post-Civil War South. Pap's personal anger at the government is completely tied up with racial prejudice.
He sees formerly enslaved people gaining rights, status, while he, a white man, feels like he's losing ground.
Exactly. It forces us to confront that uncomfortable truth. Racism wasn't just about, overt power, but also about perceived social and economic threats. It fueled these irrational fears.
Fears that, unfortunately, still echo.
Regrettably, yes. It's a really uncomfortable mirror Twain holds up, and it's such a stark contrast to some of those book ads we looked at,
Oh, right. The memoirs, the self-help.
Yeah, those ads often presented this neat, ordered vision of progress, individual achievement. Pap's raw chaos just shatters that whole illusion.
Absolutely. And facing this tyranny from Pap, Huck's fight for his own autonomy becomes incredibly literal and pretty ingenious.
Staging his own murder.
Meticulously. Using a pig, scattering its blood, dragging meal to make a trail, smashing the door with an axe, making it look like robbers.
It shows incredible resourcefulness, doesn't it? And this profound, almost primal desire to escape.
He's not just escaping Pap's abuse, right?
No, it feels like he's escaping the whole suffocating embrace of civilization as he knows it, the one that offers him Pap as its main male figure.
He wants real freedom.
And he's willing to sever all ties, even fake his own death, to get it. It's the ultimate rejection of that flawed society.
So having cut ties so dramatically, Huck's desperate bid for freedom takes this unexpected, really pivotal turn. He finds a companion.
Also seeking liberation.
And this is where the real heart of the story starts beating, right there on the Mississippi.
This companion is, of course, Jim. And the way we learn about Jim's escape is immediate, impactful.
Miss Watson was going to sell him.
Down in New Orleans. Despite promising she wouldn't, it just immediately shows the cruel injustice, the casual betrayal inherent in slavery.
It sets the stakes incredibly high for their journey together. It's not just a boy running from his dad anymore.
No, it's a man running for his life, for his freedom.
And Jim immediately adds this other fascinating layer, this rich world of superstition folk beliefs.
Which might seem illogical to Huck's pragmatic mind at first.
Like his 5-center peace charm.
Yeah, the one the devil supposedly gave him lets him cure people, fetch witches. And his knowledge of omens like young birds flying low, predicting a storm.
Which turns out to be right.
Which turns out to be chillingly accurate, yeah. And other beliefs, too, like not counting things for dinner or telling the bees when someone dies.
So they don't get weak and die off.
Right. What's so fascinating is how Jim's superstitions, while maybe illogical on the surface, often show this deep connection to nature.
And their coping mechanisms.
Absolutely. A way to survive in a world that's unpredictable and oppressive. It's a different kind of knowledge, a way of understanding reality that contrasts sharply with the civilized world's own irrational behaviors and prejudices.
Which Huck is about to see plenty of.
Exactly. Jim's beliefs, superstitious or not, often have a practical root or offer comfort where he has very little control.
And we can't forget his financial speculations.
Oh, yeah, the one-legged nigger's bank, buying the wood flat that got stolen.
They're kind of funny, but they really highlight his vulnerability, don't they?
Powerfully. They show the economic vulnerability of enslaved people, even when they dreamed of freedom. Trying to engage with the economy was just fraught with risk, exploitation, systemic injustice, plain and simple.
So their time together starts on Jackson's Island, isolated.
And that period is absolutely pivotal. They find that big cavern.
Which Jim immediately sees as perfect refuge, practical wisdom.
Exactly. Honed by necessity. They ride out a huge summer storm in there, safe and comfortable. A real contrast to Pap's chaotic cabin.
And it's on the island they find the floating house, looted, with a dead man inside.
Whose face Jim makes sure Huck doesn't see.
And we only find out later.
Spoilers. It's Pap.
Chilling. So this early time, just them surviving together against nature and society's threats, it really starts forging this bond.
A bond that transcends those rigid societal norms.
What is it about that isolation that allows it? Could it happen back in town?
I don't think so. It's like the island is a crucible, you know?
Yeah.
It shapes their relationship in a way society never could.
They're stripped of their usual roles.
Completely. Huck the white boy, Jim the enslaved black man. Those labels don't mean as much out there. Instead, it's about mutual need, resourcefulness, this growing respect.
A level playing field, almost.
They build their own social contract based on trust and shared experience, not imposed hierarchy. And that sets the stage for Huck's later moral dilemmas.
When his loyalty to Jim clashes with the civilized world's laws.
Exactly. It shows how environment, free from that conditioning, can foster real human connection. But, that sanctuary can't last.
No, the river eventually brings society right back to them, doesn't it?
It does. Their quiet, self-made world is interrupted. And Huck has to navigate this chaotic, often deceptive landscape of 19th century society again.
His encounters with deception really start testing his cunning, his moral compass.
They do. And one of the boldest early moves is him disguising himself as a girl.
Sarah Williams. No, wait, Mary Williams.
Ah, exactly.
Okay.
He slips up. He goes to get news from Judith Loftus. It's brilliant. Not just funny, but shows Huck adapting, playing a role, thinking fast.
All to protect Jim.
Driven by that urgency.
But Mrs. Loftus is sharp. She figures him out.
With those clever tests, how he holds a needle, throws lead, catches things in his lap.
Kicks at a rat.
Even that. Huck tries to adjust, but he's caught. It's hilarious, but it also subtly shows how deep those gender roles were, how easily someone could see through a disguise with just simple, everyday actions.
And it's not just witty, right? He gets crucial information.
Your critical info. There's a $300 reward for Jim, runaway slave, and, maybe more shocking, a $200 reward for Pap, because the town thinks Pap killed Huck.
Wow. So the danger to Jim is immediate, life-threatening. And it shows how easily communities jump to conclusions.
Based on flimsy evidence, it sets this very practical, tense mood, grim reality. Even in quiet towns, prejudice and snap judgments are right there.
So after escaping Mrs. Loftus, life on the raft settles down again for a bit. This watchful routine.
Drifting down the Mississippi at night, avoiding steamboats, fishing.
Huck describes it as kind of solemn, looking at the stars, not talking loud. A temporary sanctuary.
An almost idyllic escape from society's rules and dangers. They're making their own peace.
But, like you said, it's short-lived. The river's a sanctuary, but it's also a highway.
Bringing the civilized world's chaos right onto their raft, new characters arrive.
And these guys will test Huck's cunning and his morals even more.
Here they come.
The king and the duke. Oh, man. These two are just beyond preposterous.
Absurd claims to royalty.
One's the Duke of Bridgewater, the other even bolder. The late Dauphin Louis XVI, son of Louis VI and Marie Antoinette, escaped the guillotine.
Sure. It's a grand farce arriving on their doorstep, the essence of gullibility and charlatanism.
And what's amazing is Huck's reaction. Instantly.
He sees right through them.
Immediately. Low-down humbugs and frauds. No question. But then
He decides to play along. Pragmatism kicks in.
he says he learned it from Pap. The best way to get along with his kind of people is to let them have their own way.
That instant recognition of the con, paired with his practical need to adapt, it says so much about Huck's developing discernment, especially compared to how gullible everyone else seems to be.
Twain's just skewering authority, blind trust.
Absolutely, especially when it's wrapped in fancy titles or big claims.
And their schemes are just ludicrous. They expose that public appetite for sensationalism, like the Shakespearean spectacle.
Oh, the balcony scene from Romeo and Juliet with the king as Juliet, bits of Richard III, Hamlet's soliloquy.
The audience, mostly uneducated, is just baffled.
But the Duke, he's a master manipulator. He spins their embarrassment, announces a third night,
Ladies and children not admitted.
promising something rather worse than low comedy, pure psychological warfare.
And it works.
It's audacious genius, really. The townspeople, too proud to admit they were fooled, decide to sell the rest of the town on night 3.
They perpetuate the fraud to save face.
It's a perfect picture of collective delusion. Prioritizing appearance over truth, embracing a shared lie rather than admitting you were duped.
Reminds me of those book ads again, the personal memoirs of generals, lives of popes.
Exactly. Grand claims, established figures presented as unimpeachable truth, much like the Duke and King present themselves.
It's like that image of the drunk circus rider.
Yes. Shedding 17 suits, only to reveal more clothes.
It's a perfect parallel to the Duke and King. Layers of deception. Shed one identity, reveal another fraud underneath.
It's almost a commentary on the performative nature of society itself, isn't it?
I think so.
Twain uses these episodes brilliantly to satirize that hunger for sensation, the susceptibility to grand claims, putting appearances over reality. It really makes you ask about performance versus authenticity, how easily people are swayed by a good show.
Even when common sense screams otherwise.
It's a deeply cynical view of human nature, maybe, but profoundly insightful.
As the journey continues, Huck sees an even darker side of civilization, beyond just cons, real brutality, hypocrisy.
The Grangerford-Shepherdson feud. That's a chilling look at intergenerational violence.
Supposedly aristocratic families.
Held in high regard, yet locked in this ancient cycle of violence. Gentlemen who carry guns and shoot from ambush. Savage behavior totally at odds with their high-toned status.
And the deaths of young Buck and others. It's just senseless. Driven by pride and inherited hate they don't even remember the reason for.
It's a critique of that false honor code that masks such depravity.
And the hypocrisy is just unbelievable. Colonel Grangerford tells Buck, "I don't like that shooting from behind a bush. Why didn't you step into the road, my boy?"
As if that makes it better.
Right. Yet Miss Charlotte holds her head up like a queen about it. It's this gentlemanly code that condones murder if it's done with a certain, I don't know, performative style.
Optics over morality.
Exactly.
That veneer of gentility barely covers this deep savagery and moral rot. And then, almost immediately after, we get the Boggs Sherburne incident.
Boggs, the drunken loudmouth, threatens Colonel Sherburne.
And Sherburne just calmly, deliberately murders him in broad daylight. Shocking enough. But what happens next is even more revealing about Twain's view of society.
The lynch mob gathers.
And Sherburne delivers that incredible speech from his porch.
Chilling. He just dismantles them, calls them cowards, only brave in a crowd.
He says, "The idea of you lynching anybody, it's amusing. A lion and a sweatin' out there in the dark amongst the cows and the hogs, while a brave man is a-waitin' for you." He strips away their collective power, shows their individual weakness.
Wow.
Sherburne's speech is this stark indictment of mob mentality, superficiality, the lack of real individual courage. It challenges you, the listener, to think about collective action versus personal accountability.
Twain uses these stories, the feud, the murder, the mob, to just expose the violence and decay under the surface of Southern gentility.
It forces Huck and us to question what civilization really means. It's clearly not about titles or following superficial rules. It's about genuine morality, which is painfully absent here.
So as Huck witnesses all this escalating horror, the fraud, the feuds, the mob, his own moral compass is getting seriously recalibrated.
He's learning right from wrong, not from books or sermons, but from raw experience, from seeing the deep hypocrisy.
And this leads him right into this crucial, very personal test of his conscience.
Which brings us to what many see as the moral climax of the novel, the Wilkes family fraud.
This one feels different. It goes beyond just scams. It's heartless cruelty.
Absolutely. The King and Duke impersonate Peter Wilkes' dead brothers, Harvey and William, aiming for that $6,000 inheritance.
And they pre-planned it. Got details from some guy on the steamboat.
What's so infuriating is the immediate, genuine grief from the Wilkes girls in the town. They're completely taken in.
Contrasted with the local doctor, he sees right through them.
Almost instantly. Their fake English accents are the main giveaway. It's this clash of real grief versus totally cynical performance.
And this is the moment for Huck. He sees their cruelty, especially towards Mary Jane,
who he calls the best girl I ever see. This triggers a profound internal struggle, a real moral awakening.
He thinks, this is a girl that I'm letting that old reptile rob her of her money. And this is another one that I'm letting. His empathy just takes over.
His innate sense of justice, totally uncorrupted by society, compels him to act.
It's huge for him. His sense of right completely overrides his self-preservation instincts, which he's relied on so much.
He steals the gold from the con men, and in this desperate, almost impulsive move, hides it in Peter Wilkes' coffin right before the funeral.
It's such a raw picture of a conscience waking up, independent of any teaching, just pure compassion for Mary Jane.
And the unraveling is pure chaos. The real Wilkes brothers show up,
leading to handwriting tests.
And finally, the decision to dig up the corpse to check for a tattoo.
Which is when they find the gold in the coffin, exposing the King and Duke in the most public, humiliating way.
And Huck barely escapes the angry mob himself. They think he's involved. That desperate flight, it kind of foreshadows his biggest moral challenge yet.
The one that forces him to choose between his friend and everything society taught him.
A choice that will truly define him.
And that choice arrives with terrible news. Jim has been captured.
Sold by the king in a final, despicable act of betrayal for just $40. To the Phelps family.
This just ignites Huck's huge moral crisis.
His internal struggle here is legendary. It really is the moral heart of the novel.
He wrestles with everything society taught him. Helping a runaway slave is a sin, punishable by hell.
He even considers writing to Miss Watson, turning Jim in. He writes the letter.
But he can't do it. He tears it up.
His loyalty to Jim, his friend, wins out. And that leads to his iconic, defiant declaration, "All right then, I'll go to hell."
Chills. Every time.
It's a moment that just transcends the story. Huck consciously picks individual conscience, loyalty over deeply ingrained prejudice. He rejects the civilized world's definition of right and wrong.
He trusts his own heart's truth over everything he's been taught.
It's a revolutionary act of self-definition, but just when the path seems clear, Tom Sawyer arrives.
Oh, Tom. And he insists on orchestrating this elaborate, completely absurd and utterly unnecessary evasion for Jim.
It was so Tom Sawyer. He wants to do it by the book, literally. Adventure novel.
Baron Trenck, Casanova, Henry IV, all referenced in the source material. It's totally impractical, ignoring Jim's actual danger.
And the farcical elements are just, wow.
37-year job of sawing off a bed leg?
With a case knife and the rope ladder baked into a pie. Poor Aunt Sally is just bewildered, wondering where all her stuff is going.
Her shirt, spoons, candles, the warming pan, her dress. She's giving confused sermons about it all.
Totally oblivious to the boy's scheme.
And it gets even crazier. Jim needs rats, spiders, garter snakes as pets, because heroes in books have them.
And carving a coat of arms and mournful inscriptions on a grindstone. Tom even suggests Jim use an onion to cry authentic tears for the inscription.
It's elaborate play acting that just mocks the seriousness of escaping slavery.
And that's Twain's brilliant, biting satire right there. It highlights the profound moral blindness of a society that can treat human freedom like a game, a romantic adventure.
Contrasting Tom's book-learned, impractical approach with the grim reality of Jim's captivity.
It criticizes those romantic notions that obscure real suffering, real danger. The climax is just chaos, anonymous warning letters, a vigilance committee, a dog attack.
And Tom gets wounded in the process.
A complete mess. But it leads, ironically, to the novel's most poignant truths.
It's a total farce, yet somehow in the middle of it, we finally get to the true meaning of freedom. Not through Tom's plans.
No, through Jim's inherent humanity.
His character just shines here, overshadowing Tom completely.
Absolutely. When Tom is wounded, Jim performs this profound act of self-sacrifice. He stays to help the doctor nurse Tom instead of escaping.
Giving up his chance at freedom.
An act of incredible loyalty and humanity. And it finally earns him recognition from the civilized doctor who calls him no bad nigger.
Which, for that time and place, is a powerful statement. A glimmer of real moral perception.
It is. And then comes the final reveal. The one that pulls the rug out from under Tom's whole charade.
Aunt Polly arrives.
Exposes Tom and Huck's identities and reveals the ultimate truth about Jim. Miss Watson died 2 months ago.
And freed Jim in her will.
Making the entire elaborate escape completely unnecessary. A cruel game played by Tom, even if he didn't fully realize it.
Wow, the irony.
It underscores the futility of Tom's schemes when faced with actual reality. And then Jim delivers his own revelation to Huck.
Closure for Huck?
The dead man in the floating house, the one Jim wouldn't let him see.
It was Pap.
Providing this grim, definitive end to Huck's past. And confirming Huck's money is safe, Jim tells him he can get your money when you want it.
And Jim still holds on to his hope for future wealth, based on that hairy breast sign. Still a believer.
Ever hopeful, if superstitious.
And Huck's final lines just perfectly capture his whole journey, his evolution.
I reckon I got a light out for the territory ahead of the rest, because Aunt Sally, she's going to adopt me and civilize me, and I can't stand it. I've been there before.
He's had enough. Enough of the rules, the hypocrisy, the violence, the performance. It's a rejection of everything he's seen.
A declaration of his own hard-won moral independence.
And that ending just ties everything together so well, doesn't it?
Masterfully. It highlights that crucial difference between legal freedom, which Jim had, and real personal liberation.
Between society's civilization and individual morality.
For Huck, true freedom isn't conforming. It's escaping the hypocrisy, the constraints of a society that values arbitrary rules over genuine human connection and compassion.
It's a powerful argument for finding your own moral compass separate from the crowd.
As we wrap up this deep dive into Huckleberry Finn, it's just so clear why it remains timeless, not just an adventure story.
No, it's a profound journey of moral growth, a Bildungsroman of conscience.
Huck's practical, unvarnished view lets him see the hypocrisies more clearly than most adults ever do.
Through his complex relationship with Jim, through the Duke and King, the feuding families, the townsfolk, Twain uses satire masterfully.
Exposing the deep flaws, the contradictions of 19th century America, and it still resonates because it hits these universal themes: freedom, prejudice, conscience. It challenges us to look beyond the surface.
And thinking about it alongside those historical book ads we found, it gets even more interesting.
Right, ads for memoirs of Civil War generals Sherman, Sheridan, Grant, a life of Pope Leo III, Dave, even, fascinatingly, the fables and folklore of a strange people by the late King Kalakaua.
All about grand narratives, authority figures, established history, promising wisdom from on high.
Exactly. Those ads show a public hunger for documented history, leadership, for truth presented by authorities, a society valuing established narratives, hierarchies.
And Huckleberry Finn is the complete opposite.
It's the raw, unfiltered view from the fringes. From a boy who questions that authority, reveals the messy, often ugly truth beneath the polished surface.
The book implicitly asks us then, what really is civilization? Is it just following rules, social conventions, listening to authority figures?
Or is it something deeper? A spontaneous, compassionate moral choice made from the heart. Like Huck deciding to go to hell for Jim, valuing that human bond over any abstract dogma.
So what does it truly mean to be free? Is it just escaping physical chains, like Jim eventually does legally?
Or is it breaking free from those invisible chains, societal expectations, prejudice, the performative nonsense of people in power, like Huck choosing to light out for the territory?
And in a world still full of book learning, grand performances, maybe even kings and dukes of a different sort, where do we find genuine wisdom, real humanity?
That's something to mull over. Until our next deep dive.